Well, hello everyone. Welcome to week 7. If you can believe it, you are 2 weeks away from completing this course, and for some of you, completing your program as well. So, congratulations, you are almost there. I hope that light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter. I'm excited for you. It has been great to be able to reflect on you and your journey of understanding finance, school finance, and the many aspects of it. I have appreciated digging in and hearing your reflection on the ASB manual and how we as administrators have to make sure that we are considering our stakeholders, how we're leading and being responsible with how we will manage and uh, ensure that funds are being used appropriately for students. Also, I really appreciated your discussion boards this past week of being able to compare the different per pupil rate of spending in the states and their achievement. Really, the best summary which you all really came to was high amount of funding doesn't always mean that you're going to get the best results. It really does take a true management of your funds, and I think that's the reminder in all of this course is that you as administrator really want to be able to manage your funds, be reflective with your funds to ensure that they're making the impact for students. If what you're spending is not making an impact for students, stop spending there. Really be reflective with your stakeholders to really make a difference and change course if you need to change course. So let's jump into week 7. Week 7 is going to focus, I know here it says cafeteria and maintenance and operations. So really the National School Lunch Program and M&O. That's what we're looking at this week and the budget side of that. Again, when we say cafeteria, California does fund a component of the free and reduced lunch program, but really, honestly, the primary funding source is the National School Lunch Program from the federal government. Maintenance and operations, that typically comes all directly from California, unless there are particular grants for construction for different programs and those pieces. But the upkeep of schools and things like that comes from that general fund that you are responsible for. What's interesting to me in both of these programs is typically a district takes a more centralized approach where they hold the funds to be able to operate a school cafeteria as well as the M&O components of upkeep of a school facility. In a decentralized situation, you definitely have to budget more in that side of what custodial staff is going to need for possible maintenance throughout the year, a deferred maintenance for things to come in the years ahead, like carpeting, roofs, different components like that. So you're going to be reading on that this week and getting a better understanding of how funding has to be paid attention to both of those areas. And we, as future administrators or administrators like myself, have to make sure that we are keeping ourselves accountable to what the law says. So this is definitely an overview that you'll be checking into. So let's dive in and see what this week is about. Christian message is always an encouragement to you to look at. Again, this is from 2 Thessalonians 3, 6 through 13, that we really want to be kind to all and be able to support others, thinking of the lunch program and feeding others, but there's responsibility to that as well. So I encourage you to take the time to stop and just reflect on that message. You're watching this video, so you've already clicked on the link here, so congratulations. The reading for this week, 13 and 14. So these are two of the last 3 chapters of our text. So chapters 13 is about our maintenance and operations, and chapter 14 is about our school cafeterias, our national lunch program, just giving us those overviews. So you'll read both of those chapters to be reflective, gain your insight on. As always, then there's the opportunity to revisit the LCFF CDE website. The revisit for that really is going to go to assignment number 5. I don't know if it's specific. I would say it's specific to this week's topics, but it will help you dive in and be reflective again on assignment number 5 as it's looking at our allocation of funding, the LCAP, the plan that's really guiding why we're spending our funds the way we do. So that is what the look is for that chapter is. That website is really to remind you of when you're focusing on your assignment number 5. Again, not due this week, due week 8, so next week, and I'll get more into that. But that's why this site is there. And then this site, particularly the National School Lunch Program, again, this is California's interpretation of how they process what is needed for the federal program to be able to qualify what it does, what it provides, those components. So besides reading in your text, you also have the CDE webpage on the National School Lunch Program. So those are the 3 reading components that are embedded for this week. You do have a learning module that's going to get you back into the business office responsibilities. Typically, your maintenance and operations, a director falls under business services as it's not directly about instruction, but it's the facility to use for instruction, the upkeep of grounds, those components that all fit into it. So that's what the learning module is on this week as you go through that. So the discussion board is a focus on the National School Lunch Program. It is what you've gained or what you've learned. I want to say a thank you to Kimberly, Marina, and Esmeralda as your topic presentations from week 5 were about the school lunch program. So those of us that reviewed your presentations really got a preview already of what you're reading, and then what you read as well, giving your interpretation and reflection of the National School Lunch Program. As a reminder, as always, your initial post for this week is due by Thursday at 11:59. 250 word minimum for your content, as well as your citations that are included in that. And please remember, it has to be in by that Thursday night, or else I cannot give awarded points for it. And then your reflection, your responses to your peers are due by Sunday night at 11:59. So just that reminder for the discussion board. The plan ahead is really about the mock budget planning. That's assignment number 5. That is our last assignment that is due for this course. If you remember when you were working on assignment number 1, it was stated that you, besides learning about the budget for the current school year, could, while you were talking to your administrator, ask questions about planning for the future school year. So you could have already gained this information in that interview with your principal, administrator, whoever you were working with. But this is a narrative paper, so let me be clear. This is a paper, not a presentation, but a narrative paper that has to be written. It is the signature assignment for this course, meaning that it does have to be an APA paper in narrative form, that you are going to reflect on how you are budgeting for the next school year. So with that being said, you already heard me talk about going back and looking at the CDE website about LCFF funds. I would tell you, base your projected funding off of at least what was received for the school site this year. Unless your administrator shared with you, you might be receiving 2% more of a COLA or a cost of living increase, or maybe the district is discussing about a 5% cut to budget just to make sure that we aren't overspending, and maybe our district is facing declining enrollment. But if those figures seem a little weird to either do an increase or decrease, keep the funds that were used currently this year, but have that discussion about how it would be planned for next year. So some of you might be going, hey, Will, my administrator said we might be doing some of the same programs that we're doing now. By all means, you can have that dialogue. If you're seeing success in the programs that are being invested in this current year, and you have data that proves that, then that would be part of that dialogue that comes out in this assignment for your mock budget planning for next year. We will continue with our CEL program due to the fact that we've seen an increase in student engagement by 3%. So we will fund this amount, and it could be the same amount from the your assignment number 1, what you were given by your administrator, or see a change. Let's say you want to increase and bring on more paraeducators, or purchase a full-time teacher to meet a need, or pay for a couple of sections of courses. That's where that dialogue is going to come here. Now, I'm not looking that you're going to focus on the entire school budget, especially if your school site is a decentralized, but I think a majority of you, as I was reading, I would interpret our centralized district budgeting. But make sure that you are giving that insight into what you're planning, your primary goal, primary funds. If you need help with that goals, that's where the LCAP comes in. What is your district right is the LCAP focus? What is your single plan for student achievement, your site plan or SPSA? What's that goal focus that you were working on for this year? Plan that out for next year, trying to give some projection to that. Again, this assignment is not due this week in week number 7. It is due in week number 5 on Friday, May the 6th. But I just want to give that dialogue and conversation in case you do need to meet with an administrator and just be able to reflect with them on, hey, what would you budget for next year? What are our primary focuses if you can't interpret that already? Again, the assignment does have to be in an APA formatted paper, written paper, can include tables. Make sure that you are identifying how to title a table in APA formatting. You can include a separate spreadsheet if you feel like that spreadsheet is important to include. But please remember it is APA. You're going to cite your sources. Is it an interview? Are you taking the primary focus from an LCAP that's been posted on a website? Is it something that you gained from the text? You know, those components that fit into it. It is a maximum of 5 pages. I would say minimum for you, honestly, 3.5 pages. You should have a pretty rich dialogue of why you're spending where you're spending. If you need any assistance with this assignment, please don't hesitate to reach out to me by an email, text, or phone call, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. I am here and I do want to support if you have those questions. That's the week in a nutshell preview of assignment number 5. If you need that reminder for number 5, always go back to assignment number 5. Go back to the rubric as well. You know, major revenues that the school is receiving, the major expenses that your school or district is planning to expend, how it makes a relation or connection to. I know this says Common Core implementation, but you can also discuss the needs of addressing COVID here, social emotional learning, those components. But if you feel like Common Core is still something that you can make that connection to, that can be brought up, and then your writing style and your APA formatting. Those are the elements that we're looking at. I hope it's a great week. God bless.